Hi, guys. It's Dr. Liz Jenkins with drlizcoaching.com, and welcome. Thank you for joining me on day 4 inside couples conflicts. And today we're going to talk about, spend a little time talking about where your fighting style, where your conflict style might have taken root in your family growing up, early relationships, gosh, even work relationships or friendships. Those early experiences with conflict and hurt feelings, emotions, things that came up do play an impact on us now as adults and in our current relationships. They just have to, because in those early years were really formative years. We are, exposed to all sorts of different varieties and shapes, and of some successful and some unsuccessful. And even as a child, or early teen or early adult, we don't have a lot of, typically don't have a lot of personal experience and perspective to evaluate whether the way mom and dad showed up for a conflict or a fight or an argument or discussion or whatever it might be, or the way they allowed brothers and sisters or sisters, siblings to fight, interact, how we didn't have that perspective to say, you know what, that really wasn't effective, or that really wasn't a cool way of handling it. So today, what I'd like you to do is start thinking about how you get triggered in your current fights, how you show up for those conflicts or the disagreements. If you're the type that we start talking about shutting down or withdrawing, that's kind of the ice. Or if you're more of a fiery one, and at without realizing at any hint of a disagreement or whatever, you come fully charged and loaded, maybe without knowing all the facts. Okay. So oftentimes when we're growing up, we see our parents fight or have conflicts, or we see one of them sort of acquiesce and back off, or be the, I call it the environmental manager, where they make sure everything's okay, that maybe they don't speak their opinion, but they make sure that, you know, let's say in this particular, with the stereotype, it, I'm the mom, and let's say I do environmental management, so that I make sure that my husband, doesn't explode in front of the kids or doesn't get out of control or whatever. So we're kind of jockeying, and so in that time, I'm not really speaking my piece, or I'm agreeing even if I disagree, or I'm allowing things to happen that I really, if it was just me, wouldn't let happen. Maybe something like discipline. Somebody comes in, my husband comes in real hard, you know, and no dinner, go to bed type of thing. And then if it was just me, I'd say, hey, no, we're just going to talk about it. Or if you don't want to eat what's on your plate, it's not a big deal. But I certainly wouldn't have sent them to bed without a meal. Okay, let's say that. So you, as a child, in that perspective, start to see this is the way that parents have opinions, show up, solve, don't solve. And as a kid, some of us may have identified with the mom, you know, we're just going, oh, this is what we do. We keep everything calm, everybody's happy, kind of thing. Um, or we learn that we don't have a voice and we just have to go along with what happens. Maybe you might have identified with what appeared that moment to be the strong one or the scary one, which was dad. And so we wanted to align with dad and his power within the family. Yeah, it varies for every single one of us. It's based on our personality as well as kind of our gender, where we showed up in the family. Um, and let's say then we go out and we have friends, and maybe we start to come on strong in our friendships because as we're growing up, because that's what we saw at home. That's how we handle it. So if someone doesn't want to play, you know, jump rope, well, fine, I'm going home. Or maybe there's those folks that maybe remembers about basketball, and so you're playing, and suddenly the game doesn't go the way you want, and you feel like they cheated or they have an advantage, whatever. And he's like, that's my ball, I'm going. And you take the ball and leave. Okay. And you go home, and the parent says, why are you home? Oh, they were cheating, so I took my ball and left. I said, oh, good for you. All right. Maybe it was a good decision in that moment, but maybe a different type of parenting style was said, well, wait, come on. All right, those are your friends. You've known them all your life. You've grown up in for years. You go to school with them. Go back and talk it out. Don't take your ball and leave. You go back there and resolve it. So maybe you might have had a parent that was more about, let's talk about our feelings, let's resolve the problems. You don't have to escalate, and it's certainly not cool to take the ball in the game. Some of us had those type of talking it through parents, and some of us didn't. Right? And then we start to go into early relationships, dating relationships. With everything's on the line there, right? Our sense of self, our self-esteem, our awkwardness and showing up, plus all the other things that we haven't really put together with our emotions and the lust and what do we do with our hormones and all things, and that all gets woven in. So even maybe from the types of people that you were attracted to, or were attracted to you, right? Because sometimes we just show up and these people kind of seem to gravitate to us. And other times you're like, ooh, let me go that way, that person. And then we start showing up in the dating relationship. And maybe if you think back to some of those early dating relationships, everything was smooth and sweet. And whatever you wanted to do, they wanted to do that with you. Or maybe you were the one that just kind of said, I really don't enjoy doing that, but I need to do that in order to hang out and be cool and keep this person that I really, really, really love. So our early dating relationships kind of further cement different types of interactions and different types of style of how we feel comfortable speaking our mind, even realizing that we have an opinion and that our opinion should count. It impacts what we do and how we resolve or communicate. Because if we come from a place where feelings were important and feelings were out there to be discussed and everybody counted, that's one thing. But if we came from a family where the loudest one, the strongest one, their opinion counted, all right, we may be the fire one. If we might have been the one that was like, I just need to be quiet, I don't count, or I need to just keep things calm, pump the brakes. We might show up in our dating relationships without an opinion and be one of those ones like, sure, whatever, it's okay. And all of these experiences layer on until we have some pretty standard conflict management, conflict resolution um, styles. How we handle it, how we talk, are we defensive? Do we cast judgments? Do we handle things in more nonverbal, kind of passive aggressive ways? When we go to our current now relationship or marriage, we are kind of rooted in those styles, and so is our partner and our spouse. And now we take these two styles and we got to blend them. If we're lucky, um, they blend well, and our feelings are heard. We have conversations instead of conflicts. And even when there are conflicts, they're manageable. We can take time out so we can come back. We can agree to disagree. But oftentimes we don't. We show up with these existing patterns, and that becomes the new norm for the relationship. And that's where I want you to start thinking, okay, this is where we are successfully, and then some of the non-successful, kind of the wins and some of the misses in our conversations. I'd like you to spend some time just thinking about, where did that style come from? Who did I see? Who did I hear? Who were my role models? What were the wins? What were the misses back there? What lessons did I learn? And then how am I bringing them? How are they showing up in this relationship or this marriage now? And it'd be ideal if your partner or spouse would do the same thing, so that they can kind of get the inside scoop. So then together, the two of you can say, ah, I realize this. This is what I did. This is what I'm doing. This is where I think I need some help. I need a better strategy. I don't know how, but I realize that this is something that I could improve upon, and vice versa. All right. So in the coming days, we're going to start, really identifying some of those styles, the five complex styles that show up typically in couples. But you'll now know kind of where you came up with that style, so that we can, okay, this makes sense. Now, how can we improve on it, change on it? Because I'm going to share proven strategies, guys, techniques for handling even the most difficult of conversations, difficult situations, and start developing a sense between the two of you that we can successfully have difficult conflicts and have difficult conflict conversations. We don't need to avoid them, and we don't need to sweep them under the rug, and we don't certainly don't need to keep having history repeat ourselves. So we're having these nasty things and then we're finding ourselves more distant. So I hope this has been helpful. I'm around. If you would love to jump right in and get started on switching this up, I have my Reignite program where we work one on one, 30 days or 3 months, or we can customize it. But it's Reignite where we'll help you reclaim the passion, reclaim the friendship, the love, and the calm and ease in your relationship. Take care. I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.